lots of aspects about the corpse flower that make it stand apart in the world of botanicals. One is its giant size, so it's between 7 and 10 feet tall, so very large compared to most normal flowers. Another thing that makes it stand apart is its unique scent. So most flowers we think of having a perfume scent to help attract bees, butterflies, and other normal pollinators. In this case, it smells like a dead body to attract flies and carrion beetles and things that would be attracted to a rotting corpse. So having one of these flower is a very rare event, very unusual, but we actually have two that are going to flower within a few weeks of each other, which is very unusual. The giant corpse flowers are naturally found growing in a very small geographical region in western Sumatra. However, they are cultivated worldwide in botanical gardens and conservatories for their crowd appeal. So these were donated to us from Ohio State University in 2017. So the corpse flower gets its name from that distinctive smell like a dead body. That scent helps attract its pollinators. So essentially these insects need to come, spread the pollen around so the plant can set fruit and set seed and propagate itself. So unlike most plants, which are pollinated by bees and butterflies, these are pollinated by carrion beetles and fungus gnats, things that are attracted to rotting meat. Corpse flowers have a very unique growth pattern and habit, so they go through dormancy cycles, like many other plants, but being a corpse flower is very large and unusual, so there's lots of differences about it. So it grows from a large underground corm or tuber, essentially think of a giant warty potato. For most of them, they can weigh anywhere between 30 and 50 or so pounds. The heaviest ones weighed in at over 150 pounds. So a giant root. This is where the plant stores all its energy to produce these giant flowers, and when not producing giant flowers, giant leaves. So as this plant is growing, it goes through cycles to produce enough energy to produce a bloom. Usually takes between 7 and 10 years of these cycles to get large enough. But during these cycles, it will send up a giant leaf that looks like an umbrella. That's botanically one giant leaf, can be up to 10 to 12 feet tall by the same spread. So one of the ways that we can tell when these corpse flowers are going to open is by measuring their growth curves. So they have a distinct curve of growth. So at the young stage, they tend to grow relatively slowly, maybe an inch or two a day, if that. As growth picks up, as the bud gets larger, they can grow up to 6 to 8 inches in one day. As you get closer to blooming period, the growth will start to slow down, the growth curve will level off, and that's one of the keys to know that you're getting close to full bloom. Yeah, so besides our very large one that is flowering, we also have a much smaller one. That tuber was only 15 to 20 pounds when we weighed it in November, so that is very small to be having to flower. We're very surprised by it. It's not very common to have a plant that small be able to produce a flower. So we expect this to bloom around the next, like May 13th through May 20th, somewhere around there. The small one we're expecting to be about a week after the large bloom, so around May 24th through the 31st, somewhere in that window. Corpse flowers have a wide range of aspects that make them unique and interesting to have in greenhouse collections. So one is that they're just so large and unusual that you can draw immense crowds to see these because they are such a rare event to see in person. So another aspect that is unique of having these in the greenhouse collection is to be able to talk about conservation aspects. So giant corpse flowers are endangered in their native habitat because they come from such a small geographical location. Because of that, that area right now is under threat from deforestation and numerous other issues as well. So their natural numbers are declining. Being able to grow these plants ex situ or outside of native habitat helps preserve the genetic diversity of the gene bank and also exposes these plants to more people and raises awareness about conservation in general. At first, people will say if plants smell like dead body, who wants to see that? But that's part of what attracts people to these plants is how unusual they are. That they smell like a dead body and that they are so large. It's just the weird oddity aspect that draws people to them. So in addition to our corpse flowers, we have a large tropical collection in our greenhouse of around 1,500 different taxa or types of plants that we use for teaching research. Within that collection, we hold carnivorous plants, so tropical pitcher plants. We have lots of flytraps and other carnivorous species, really weird orchids with very unusual pollination methods. So we use that. We have tropical fruit trees, really anything that you'd want to see in rural horticulture, we have examples of that our students can learn from.